Welcome to one of the many circle sessions hosted by Wonder Girls. Wonder Girls is a nationwide classrooms movement. We bring relatable female role models into classroom settings through our circle sessions. As you will see, the crux of these sessions is its dialogic nature. We're currently working with classrooms across 7 Indian cities and continuing to grow. Our aim is for every adolescent in India to have access to relatable female role models. I welcome you once again and hope you enjoy learning from our role models' life journey and career path.
Welcome everyone to the Wonder Girl session. I'm really excited to be moderating this session for the first time. So before I begin, let me just introduce the speaker to everyone. So today's speaker is Jaya Sahan. We'll be interacting with her throughout the session and her entire career trajectory of her becoming CA. So a little bit about the speaker. So Jaya Shan was raised in Bahrain, Middle East. She has shifted to Bombay in 2010 after her 12th, and she has also completed her graduation in accounting. Not only that, she also holds two professional degree in accounting itself, chartered accountant, which is from the Indian Institute of Chartered Accountant India, as well as Association of Chartered Certified Account UK. So she not only she holds two CA degrees from two very reputed institutions. She has also completed her 3-year articleship at mid-sized CA firm, which is Kimchi Convergy and Company Limited Liability Partnership in Bombay itself. Currently, she is serving as an associate director in the field of in the vertical of taxation at the same firm. So, just about the session, a student will be interacting with you throughout. They have a lot of questions for you to ask. Just to give the momentum to the session, I will begin by breaking the ice by asking few questions to you, and then it's all about a student interacting with you and getting to know more about you as well as your field. So I'll just begin.
Yeah.
So my first question is, to become a CA as well, like it requires a lot of time and effort. Like it's not easy to become a CA. And I see that you have not completed your CA but also your ACCA. So it must have required a lot of time and dedication for you. And in this age of digital distraction, how did you keep yourself motivated to complete it? Because I think student needs to learn it, like how to keep themselves on track, and motivation runs after a while. So tell us about your journey to become a CA. How did you keep yourself on track through the entire journey?
Right. First of all, good morning, everyone, and really happy to be part of this session. Now, coming to CA and even completing ACCA, it is true. It does require tremendous you need a lot of so many years of hard work and study into getting these degrees. And now these courses, they involve a lot of practical training requirement. You, in the CA course itself, you need to be working for 3 years. You need to do an internship for 3 years before you can actually appear for your final exams. So, all these factors, they help you in, getting into the mindset of studying for 4 or 5 months at a stretch so, whenever we used to study, for those 4 or 5 months before the exam, we used to ensure a complete, social media blackout. We used to go off Facebook. We used to log off Instagram, and disable WhatsApp on our phones, because and once you start, I'll just do it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'll just talk to my friend for half an hour, and I'll just surf Instagram for half an hour, just clear my mind. But that half an hour becomes 1 hour, 2 hours, and then the whole day is gone that way. So we used to block off WhatsApp for 4 months. We used to go off social media completely. We used to have set, at least I used to have some set time slots during the day. Like, whenever I'm having say breakfast or lunch or dinner, I have that, half an hour of TV at that time. I ensure that there is a dedicated time slot for studying during the day, like 3 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon, and we ensure that during that time we study properly with proper discipline, and then you're free to do whatever you want for the rest of the day, as long as you put in that the 8-9 hours of study which is required in those last 4 months. That 8-9 hours of study is per day is quite enough, but it has to be focused. You can't be like half an hour you study, then again half an hour you watch some TV, and then again you come back. There is you require time for everything. You don't need to be completely out of out of zone, but that you're away from TV and you're away from your, and if you're focused enough that way, then I think you'll manage. There's no need to like completely black out. Sometimes on a weekend go out with your friend, just meet them for half an hour, but ensure that you've put in 8-9 hours of focused study beforehand.
That's
So
great. And learning that timetable, schedule, and having that good control over yourself is the key to clear any kind of hard exams in your life. So now I think students are also very willing to ask you a lot of questions. So I'll start tagging the student. So
sure.
Sunil, would you like to go forward and ask the very first question? Ma'am? Sunil, if you could hear me.
Yes, I would ask my question.
Yes.
Hi,
Yes,
Sunil.
ma'am. Good morning, ma'am, and thank you
Good
for
morning.
being with us here.
Pleasure to be here.
Ma'am, before starting, my elder brother, he is in degree second year. He is also studying CA only. So whatever
Oh, wow.
I get information from you, I would like to share with him also as
Sure,
well.
sure, definitely. Hopefully I can help.
Ma'am, I heard from my brother that for learning CA or doing CA, you have to write some 18 exams, it seems. So which are like very important. And if you miss on any one exam, like you get failed in something, you have to start from the beginning again. So
Yes.
you have to be a bookworm for that. So how difficult was it for you
Uh,
studying so hard?
it was actually very difficult for me as well. But so initially the foundation exam, the entrance exam, which is called CPT. I think they call it something else now, but in my time it was called CPT. And so that went off quite well. Then the intermediate exam, which is some 7 papers, that also I was able to complete in my first attempt. And the final exam actually took me a very long time. So the final exam has 8 papers, which is basically there are 2 groups of 4 papers each. And there's a very high requirement. So one, you need to pass every exam. You need to get 40 in every 40 plus in every paper. Plus you need an aggregate of 50% in that group to actually clear. So basically one group is 4 papers, and so 400 marks. You need 200 plus in that group to actually clear. So there were times when I actually cleared all the papers, but I didn't meet my aggregate of 50%. So I had to give the exams all over again. So it does require a lot of study. There is constantly, and with every attempt that you give, there's since we are studying laws, accounting, so all of those standards keep changing with every within every 6 months. So you need to keep getting updated. So it's not like you've already studied it in the in the last attempt. So the same thing continues, because that portion the syllabus has changed, the laws have changed by then. So, you are actually restudying the whole thing. And, but yes, if you are, like I said earlier, keep a dedicated time for that. Ensure that you are you have you're practicing papers constantly. You are looking through all the past papers also to understand how how the questions are going, and study, put your full effort, put your full be very disciplined with your studies. So then I think it would be it would not be so difficult to crack the papers.
Thank you, Didi. I will go with my next question. They I have wanted to ask you that in any time, like till you became a successful CA, in any time of your journey, you felt that I should go with something else or some other career and take some other profession as my career. Anytime you felt there like that, and if you felt which
I
career, which occupation you liked.
I did. Lot of times actually, because frankly, it took me a very long period. The first 4 years went off quite well. By articleship, my intermediate, but my finals took a very long time for me to clear, and there were probably a lot of factors involved. But then so with every attempt you sort of get a little your motivation, you need to find new ways to motivate yourself at that time. And at that time, many times I thought maybe I should probably do an MBA. I should do get my master's degree instead of spending so much time in doing CA. But and in the midst of that, I actually even in the midst of giving my CA finals, I actually even started then masters wasn't a very good option for me, because I was actually interested in this field after so many years of putting in effort here. And so my subject of interest was tax, and doing a master's, doing an MBA finance was not going to help me in uh, really it would sort of lead me off track, and not help me get into being a tax consultant. So CA was definitely then the best option for me. And in that, then I decided ki, maybe I should look at other options as well. So at that point I decided to do ACCA, which is basically like the CA is an Indian professional degree. ACCA is the same thing as CA, but it is a certification in UK. So for me, doing an ACCA would help me further my career in the chartered accountant field itself. It would help me, get the desired professional degree for getting my career ahead in tax consultancy. So then I started to think on those lines, and then I started with ACCA. So completely leaving it just because you're not clearing is not the answer. You have to, if it is something that you really want to do, whether it's audit or whether it's finance and or whether it's taxes, CA is definitely the best option for you as a career choice. So um, that's why I then decided, all that MBA stuff is all, it's all just, it's just frustration coming out and nothing else. And then again, I refocused myself on CA and ACCA.
Thank you so much, Didi. Thank you for answering my questions. Thank you,
You're
Didi.
welcome.
Okay. Next, I would like to tag Jatin. Jatin, you can go forward and ask your questions.
Yes, dear. So, hi, ma'am. My name is Jatin.
Hello.
So,
Hi,
can
Yatin.
you tell what were your biggest struggles while you were studying or doing?
My biggest struggles. So one, so I had not grown up in Mumbai, so I had just moved here when I was 18 years old. My family was still back in Bahrain, and so for me the first struggle was actually learning about a new place, trying to live on my own, and trying to manage my own uh, you know trying to manage myself, all of my stuff, and my studies and everything. So, and getting used to Mumbai, it's compared to where I came from, Mumbai was a very, very different city. So it was quite a struggle for the first couple of years when I moved to Mumbai. Uh, After that, one of the main struggles was when I started my articleship. So in CA, you need to do 3 years of training, practical training, before you can give your final exams. So, we were like, 19-year-old when I started my articleship. And at that time, and you're just given your intermediate exams, and you don't really understand, you don't really comprehend everything at that point. What exactly is involved in this line, what exactly is involved in this field. And once you start doing your articleship, you articleship and internship is basically just a name. You're basically working full time. You're 19 years old and you're working for 9-10 hours a day, and you're interacting with clients, you're interacting with your seniors, you're interacting with so many different people, and you're trying to learn a lot of things at that time. So initial, the 1.5 year of articleship was quite challenging that way, because it was like a completely new thing. When you're 19-year-old, you're not really thinking about a full-time job and a full-time working 10 hours a day. And so you sort of think you might go to college, enjoy your life, but then articleship, you go to college and then you go to work for 10 hours and then you really don't have time. So it was quite a struggle that way, but then we learned quite a lot, in that articleship. That practical training helped us later on in our exams, and it is also helping us now, in our professional careers. So yeah, those were, I think, the main struggles at that time. And finally, the biggest struggle was getting through the CA finals.
Thank you, ma'am. And who was your most inspiring person in your life, ma'am?
Most inspiring person, I would say, would be my parents and my brother. They were they were my rock through the whole, through my whole journey to become a chartered accountant. From the minute that for me, that I landed in Mumbai, and I was on my own, and my parents, because before that I had never lived without my parents. I had never done anything by myself. And so I think at that time my parents, they
Wonder
kept
Girls,
me.
Wonder Girls session.
Yeah. So they are the ones who kept me going, that that I can make it in Mumbai, that I can that I can handle everything on my own. And they gave me the independence and the freedom to actually pursue this career. And even with all the attempts that went by, and so they were my constant motivation to actually give the next exam, that I can't just give up at this point. And so I think they were the biggest motivators for me.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering. Done it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jatin. And now we'd like to take Shrikshita to come forward and ask her question. You also had certain questions, Shrikshita.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Shikshita. So
Hi, Sukshita.
my one question is, did you get any appreciation from anyone outside for doing this job?
Mm, I did, yes. So while I was one, definitely from my parents, for for all the even the little victories that I used to have. Like I cleared my intermediates, and even with the finals I cleared it in slots. I cleared one group and then I cleared the second group. And so my parents were actually very supportive and very appreciative that way. And coming to real appreciation was, during my during my articleship. So in my firm at Khimji, we had an a monthly recognition, sort of a performance awards kind of thing. And so they had called them the sparkle of the month and the star of the year. So they used to choose who had performed the best, which article had performed the best during that month. And so I was awarded as the sparkle. And even for the work that I had done in the tax department, with basically with interacting with the clients, and with the way the work was handled. And later on, out of those 12 sparkles in the month of every month, they choose the star of the year. And I was even awarded the star of the year in my firm. And with and even in the firm, a lot of my senior partners, my immediate reporting partners, they were extremely appreciative of the work that I put in, the hard work that we were putting in. And so regularly they used to motivate us and help us to do better. And so yeah, those, I think my firm as such was one of my biggest appreciators. And I think they also are, one of my partners were one of the people who actually stood by me through this entire CA course. And so yeah, I think my firm is one of the biggest, and they are the ones who've helped me get where I am today. So yeah, incredibly thankful for them.
Yes, Sid, thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome.
It's very rare to hear somebody appreciating and giving due credit to their firm. So it was wonderful knowing your journey so far, like, giving student like how to keep themselves updated and relevant, because exams also keep changing. And I love the point that you really you brought it with a lot of clarity, that not only, passing the CA exam is enough, but you have to qualify. You have to have certain aggregate to qualify the exam. That's really good. So moving forward, and now I like to tag Amulya to come forward and ask her questions. Amulya, you could come.
Hi, ma'am. Thank you, first
Hello.
of all, for coming to our session. I have
Hi,
only one
Amulya.
question to ask you.
Sure.
In your own words, tell us how to manage our extracurricular activities and our studies.
Sure. Extracurricular, see, I would say that both are equally important. You cannot just keep studying, but you cannot also just be, playing football, or, whatever other extracurricular activity you're into. I think you need to find a balance. Like I said earlier, focus, have a focus time, a timetable, have a focus time schedule for your studies for every day. And in the evenings, take out a couple of hours for yourself also, because those are also, getting into those extracurricular activities is also equally important, because it helps to refresh yourself, because there's a lot of the studies, the more, the further you go on, the further you progress in your school, and ahead in your professional career, the studies are just going to keep increasing. They're just going to keep mounting on you. And so it is important to have a couple of hours every day to refresh yourself, to find other interest, that you can enjoy apart from your professional studies. And but always ensure that you keep a dedicated time first for studies, because right now is the time, until you're maybe 25, 26 years old. This is the best time that you're going to have to study, because after that you're going to have a lot of other responsibilities which come in, and it will get very difficult at that time for you to study. So it is important that you take the next 10 years to really work hard and establish yourself professionally. But yes, also keep some time. So like I'll tell you, for me, I enjoy reading a lot. So if I pick up a book, it is very difficult for me to then just keep it down without finishing it. And that sometimes gets used to get in the way of my studies as well, because until I finish the book, I really can't do anything else. So then I started keeping some time. I used to ensure that first thing in the morning, I'm going to study. I'm going to finish my classes. I'm going to finish work. I'm going to do my studies for 3-4 hours a day. And at night, I used to have that 1.5 hour to just read. And it took a lot of time, but then over time I sort of got into that, no, I'll just read for 1 hour. It refreshes me, and then that's it. But yes, you have to balance both, because this is the only time that you're really going to get to study on your own without any other responsibilities.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, move. Pallavi. Now we take Pallavi to come forward and ask her question.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Pallavi. I'm studying 9th class. Now
morning,
I ask
Pallavi.
questions. What is your situation you disturbed in your life?
I'm
Hello?
sorry. Could you
What
repeat the
situation?
question?
What situation you disturbed in your life?
I think she's trying to ask what are the certain challenges that you faced in your professional journey
Yeah.
and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. So the first, I think the first biggest challenge, uh, and one of the most important challenges I faced in my professional journey was when I failed the CA exam, the CA finals.
Ramya, Madhu and Ramya, you girls are not on mute.
So I think the first and the most difficult challenge that I faced in my professional journey was when I failed the CA finals for the first time. So I was, I was a school ranker. I was a school ranker. I was one of the top students academically in my, all throughout my school. And even with my bachelor's, it wasn't really, much of a challenge. But I even cleared my CA foundation, the CA intermediate exams in the first attempt. So, you always have that thinking, you are going to clear only, I'm going to clear. I will not have that much. People say it is definitely one of the toughest exams in the world, but then you always have that confidence that no, I'm going to clear. That I've never failed. And the first time that I failed that CA final, that was sort of a reality check at that time. It was very, so at that time it was, it was sort of very confusing, and, like, how did I fail? And, how did that happen? And I think that first failure sort of hits you very hard. And you sort of wonder, are you really cut out for this? Should I really, go on? And but then I think, after a few days, you sort of learn to accept it. You you learn that it's just a setback. It's just a delay in you getting in reaching your goal, and it's not a complete dead end. The first failure, it sort of helps clear your mind. You don't have too many illusions about yourself after that point. And and it helps you to work harder the next time, that nay, I am going to clear this is what I want to do, this is the goal that I want to reach, and I am going to get there. So I think that was one of the most difficult challenges that I faced, and I'm glad that I continued and that I ensured that I did not give up. And it was very important for me to keep a positive attitude at that time. Initially, it was difficult. It was difficult to accept it, but then after a point, you learn that it happens. Things like these happen in life, and you just go on from there. So after that, I got back up. I started studying again, and I ensured that I will not give up until I finally cleared that exam and get my degree.
That's really wonderful to know, Jaina. I want to elaborate on one question. You said that we all have our illusions when we sit for an exam because we all live in our bubble, saying that I'm giving my best, putting my best foot forward. So, what advice would you give it to this student because they all will be going into their particular field and the competition is going to get harder? Like how to break that illusion wall for us so that not only we practice in the best way possible, but we also do in a like smart studies with practical approach. So what are the certain,
Yeah.
because we have been through two exams, so what advice would you give to break that illusion wall so we know where we
Yeah.
stand?
So one of the biggest illusions is that I cannot fail. That this cannot happen. This will never happen. I have never failed in my school. I have I got through college, and so that biggest illusion is that I cannot fail. And that whole thing that failure is a bad thing. Everyone has that. So so there's nothing to be ashamed about it. There is, you need to be practical, you need to be realistic, and at least with CA, I can say that it is one of the CA, or I think probably even medical exams. They are one of the toughest exams to crack, and you will have some setbacks, but and it does not mean that you are not cut out for it, that you're not good enough for it. You just need to be a little more practical. Ensure that you are not overconfident with everything. Put in all the hard work. Some people sometimes at that level they think that nahi, nahi, I will study for 2-3 hours, एग्जाम के पहले 2 दिन पढ़ लेंगे और हो जाएगा, हम लोग का एग्जाम हो जाएगा. So that it when you're in a professional field, that it doesn't happen. You need to put in all those hours of study over months together before you can actually say confidently कि नहीं, I have given my 100%. फिर what will happen. But just studying for those 2 hours, or 2 days before the exam, and then still expecting कि नहीं, I'm going to clear, that sort of mindset should not be there. In at least in whether you're doing CA or whether you're doing a medical exam or an engineering exam, whichever field that you're in, it is important that you maintain that discipline, that focus from the very beginning. You enjoy your life in every other way, that there's nothing coming in the middle of that. But at that time, be practical. Your first focus has to be your studies, and once you get into that discipline, it will be easier for you when you appear for your exams.
That's beautiful. Like discipline is the key, right? And then
Yes.
long consistency and long hours. Like it's
Yes.
not like one day before exam I'll study and I'll be able to crack it. So
Right.
I think that's beautiful because most of these students will be passing their 10th grade and will be going into their respective field. Most of them are interested in medical. So I think the same kind of rules they can apply to their that study as
It
well.
it applies to every field that you do. Even in medical, I think you have to do a lot of training before you can get your license to practice medicine.
Yes.
So all of those things combined will help you be a better professional, will help you be a better doctor or a better CA, or whatever field you're in, better anything that you do. You need to be disciplined. You need to have the mental strength. You need to keep patience. It cannot be, at least in CA, I think the most important thing I've learned is patience. because you know it can't be that कि नहीं मुझे आज ही clear करना है, मुझे यही attempt clear करना है, you know there is nothing else after this, मैं और कुछ नहीं कर सकती. You need to keep that patience कि नहीं हो जाएगा, एक कभी तो हो जाएगा, but you know be disciplined, be focused, be be positive about the whole about your own journey, and you will crack it.
Yeah, I think a positive attitude clubbed with practical approaches will really help us get through. So I'll just now students are also very eager to ask. So now I'll tag Maithili and Akshaya to come forward and ask the questions that they were looking forward.
Hello, ma'am. A very good morning.
Good morning.
So my question is, so I really don't know about the chartered accountant. What is the main thing that they do in that, ma'am?
Yeah, so basically a chartered accountant degree will allow you to do a lot of things in the field of accounts and finance. So there are various different options. One is you can become an auditor. Auditor is basically someone who checks the books of accounts, checks the accounts of an organization, and certifies that that they are correct, that they are proper. So an auditor will check that all your accounting standards are followed, that all your laws, the company has complied with all the laws or not, and he will provide a certificate for it. So you can become an auditor, you can become a finance analyst. Basically, someone who will get into investments, into making investments, into deciding which investments are viable, and which investments should not be taken. So the chartered accountant degree will help you to analyze the balance sheets and the profit and loss account of a company, and be able to make your own decisions about whether the company is is a good company, or whether it is a company fit for making investment or not. With a chartered accountant degree, you can also, like the way I do, I got into tax consultancy. So basically, I provide income tax related advisory to my clients. I help my clients in filing their income tax returns, in filing all of their income tax compliances. We can even get into indirect tax, like you have like you see GST. So you get into all of those compliances. You can get into corporate law for that matter. Corporate law is basically company law, where company law, under company law also a company secretary would have to do an n number of compliances for a company. Every company needs to file their annual returns. Every company needs to file their resolutions with the concerned government authorities. So a CA would help in getting into corporate law. So like these, there are various different fields. A CA covers sort of all the subjects which are there under the accounts and finance field. It covers accounting, it covers taxes, it covers your corporate law, it covers cost management, it covers financial management, information systems auditing. So all of these, there's one in the final 8 papers that I said, which are there in your CA finals. So there's one subject for everything, and then you can choose your own specialization on that.
That's really good to know. Sounds like a very exciting job. Like the way you were describing all the job description from corporate it's like CA now. So
Yeah.
now I would tag, there are student asking, Bhavyashri, you can go forward and ask the question.
Yes, Didi. Good morning, Didi.
Good morning.
My question is, what skills does a chartered accountant need?
Skills, I think first of all, you need a lot of patience. I think patience is the biggest skill that you can have in this field. Secondly, I think you need to be you need to be a quick learner, because you need to develop yourself into learning different laws. Laws keep changing, especially in India. Laws are changing every day, at least especially in my field. If you see, tax laws are changing every other day. So you have to be a quick learner. You need to have that the presence of mind to actually learn all those new laws and understand how to implement that for for all your different clients. Because one client might be, say, they are manufacturing something, one client might be in banking, one client might be in some other financial service. So different laws would apply to your clients differently. And you need to have that quick learning and that presence of mind to know that when you have to be uh, you know when to apply those laws effectively. Another important skill is that you need to have a lot of integrity. You need to be you know ethically, you need to be sound. There are some things which are right, there are some things which are wrong. And especially with accounts and with taxes, there are a lot of chances for manipulating books, manipulating accounts, manipulating tax returns, tax filings. So you need to be extremely ethically sound to be to one so that you don't go down the wrong path as well, and that that you are following the laws properly, and to also ensure that your clients are also on the right side of the law. So I think ethically sound is one of the most important traits that a CA would require. uh, After that, I think it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of discipline. You need to be able to manage your time very well, because you'll have a lot of deadlines in CA. There is a deadline for filing your accounts, there is a deadline for filing your returns, there is a deadline for filing all your audits. So it there's always going to be one deadline after the other, and you're going to have, like, hundreds of clients, and you need to ensure that all of their filings are done on time. So you need to have extremely good time management skills, and ensure that all the work is done within that time. And yeah, so I think those are some of the most important skills that a CA would need to have.
That's great. Good to know.
Also, Didi,
Sorry.
one more question. What are the best days in your life?
The best days, I think one of the best days was when I finally cleared. I was, I think, extremely relieved at that time. And some of the other, professionally, that was one of the best days when I cleared both of my degrees, my ACCA as well as my CA. And yeah, I think those. And now some of the best days are, when, whenever you put in a good day's work, you've done well, you've completed all your work, and your clients are happy and you are happy. So those little things in life also, in those little everyday things in life also, they it's
Okay, that's good to know. So next is Maithili. Maithili, go forward and ask your question. Okay. Is Maithili on the call still?
Yeah, Didi. Yeah, Didi, had your parents supported or anyone had motivated you to become like this?
Yes, yes. I think my parents were my biggest motivators, and they were my biggest support throughout my journey to become a chartered accountant. And all the times that I fell down, or I was not in the right frame of mind. Whenever I did not clear my exam, or whenever I had a very difficult day at work. And because we are like 19, 20-year-olds who are doing so much work for the first time in our lives. So whenever we used to have very difficult days at work, so that time I think my parents were my biggest motivators to to keep going, to keep to remind me that this is actually my dream, and this is what I want to do. And at the end, once I get there, I will appreciate it. I will appreciate the whole journey at that time. So my parents were, they used to constantly, give me that advice and give me that motivation to keep going. They even that, another thing for a girl here in at least in India, it's like, कि नहीं exam नहीं clear हो रहा है तो शादी कर लो. So there was that whole thing at that time, when I was not clearing, and it was a very prolonged CA journey. So at that time also my parents stood by me ki nahi, let her clear, let her finish, let her start her professional journey before we decide on the on the next step in life. So that way I think compared even despite what everything what every a lot of people in society used to say, a lot of my relatives used to say, my parents stood behind me like a rock, and my parents and my brother for that matter. So and they I'm just incredibly grateful for that support.
So it comes down to family support is obviously very integral for any kind of success journey that you want to achieve.
It is.
Yeah, it is very.
Especially for a girl, because यहाँ पे people start thinking कि नहीं, you're 22, you get married now, बाद में देख लेंगे. If your in-laws allow you to study, then you study. But then if your parents are behind you and they support you, so then it doesn't matter what anybody else says.
Definitely a wonder girl quality, I would say. But now moving forward, now I will tag Mohan. Mohan, you can ask your question.
Yes, ji.
Hi,
So,
Mohan.
hello, ma'am.
Hi.
It's pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
So,
Pleasure's
my
all
first
mine.
question is who are some people will tell na Didi, some people will criticize you. Did you take that criticism or you left that and continued your work?
Yeah, yeah. There were a lot of people who used to criticize, especially throughout that whole journey. कि क्यों करना है, बाद में भी कर सकते हो. अभी you get settled in life, and तुमसे नहीं होगा. And there are a lot of things that way. And at some point you also start thinking that way, maybe they're right. But then you have to remember that it is not their dream, it is your dream to and it is your career at the end of the day, it's your life at the end of the day. And none of those people are going to come in case none of those people are going to stand by you if anything goes wrong. It's on you, you have to be independent that way. So it is so after a point, then I sort of got my head straight, and like let people say whatever they want to say. I am going to do this. And I just kept my head down, and I'm like, no, I will not stop until I finished. And I had an idea or a goal of what I wanted to do. I wanted to get ahead in the tax field. So then I'm like, whatever anyone else else says or does not matter. It matters what I do. And so just think positively and keep going, because log to bolenge, no, everyone is going to talk. It doesn't matter. It's your life at the end of the day. It's what you want to do. And you need to at some point be independent and say ki nahi, I am going to make something out of my life.
My next question, Didi.
Yes.
So are anyone behind your success or on your own you succeeded in your life?
I think it's a mix. A lot of it, yes. You are the one who, I'm the one who is, studying, and I'm the one who's giving those exams. So a lot of my own success does depend on me. But it's important to remember that you cannot do anything alone. If you don't have the support of your family, if you don't have the support of, some of your closest friends, it's not possible to do something like this alone, whether and in whatever field you're in, because you're going to find challenges in every field, whether it's CA, whether it's an MBA, whether it's a medical degree, and whether you're becoming a lawyer or becoming an artist. So unless you have the support and the guidance of your seniors, of your parents, you cannot do anything alone. And I definitely did not get through all of this, did not get to where I am, by my own. I had my parents, I had my brother, I had some of my closest friends, and I even had my firm, the firm where I've, worked now for almost 10 years. So those people were the ones, who stood by me and who helped me get where I am today. So you need the support of, of your people to succeed.
Thank you, Didi.
Any more questions, Mohan?
No, Didi, no.
Okay. Sure. Thank you, Mohan. Now I will tag Geeta Lakshmi. Please come forward and ask your question, Geeta Lakshmi.
Good morning, Didi.
Good morning.
So, first of all, thank you for there today with us and spending with us your most valuable time. So, I'm asking my first question. So, my first question is, does someone inspired you?
Inspired in my CA degree, yes, I would say my senior partner. My senior partner is Mr. Kamlesh Vikamsi, and he is also one of the tax partners in my firm. And I used to always, since the day I started my articleship, I've looked up to him, and he had the, he was an extremely good. He was extremely good professionally, but he is also an extremely good person. So, he is someone I've aspired to be, since the day I started my professional journey in Khimji. So he's still one of my biggest inspirations at the firm. And hopefully I can get to, a level that he is, after so many years of my career.
My second question is, does your parents encourage you, Didi?
Yes, all the time. Since my school and, throughout my college, throughout my journey, even today, if there's, whether professionally or personally, even if today there is some doubt, some issue that I have, the first person I think of calling are my parents. So they have been my biggest support.
Okay, thanks, Didi.
Thank you, Geeta Lakshmi. We are approaching towards the end of this session, so I will not will ask you like few last questions. Like for students who are looking forward to establish their career in finance and accountancy, what would be your advice for them? Like, how can they start early? Like, all of that.
I would say there's a lot of information available on the different courses in accounts and finance, that are there right now. You can do your masters, you can do CA, you can do cost accounting. So I would say research thoroughly before you get into something, and so that you know that this is the field that you want to get into. Even an MBA finance has a different trajectory compared to a CA, that way. So there are a lot of different goals you might have. You want to become the CEO, the CFO of a company. You want to become the CEO of a company. You want to get into auditing. A CA degree will give you the privilege to be able to sign balance sheets, which you don't get in any other course in accounts. So it depends on what you want to do ultimately. And so I would say research thoroughly, and once you've decided, then go at it full force. Just be focused and keep your end goal in mind.
I remember earlier in the session you said that like when it comes to accounting, especially in terms of chartered accounting in the field of finance and accounting, it's one of the most interesting thing. So what made you say so? Like what are some exciting aspects of your job?
So for my job, well, there's at least I can say for taxes. I started my articleship and I was put into the tax department. At that time, I did not know anything. I did not know what audits are. I did not know what tax is. But then, over time, when I started actually working practically in the tax field, and there's so many different, if you take the Income Tax Act itself, there are 600 different sections. So and that keeps changing every day. There are there's a lot of scope in litigation, in getting into direct tax litigation. There's cross border taxes, there's transfer pricings, and there are so many different fields that you can specialize in. There are so many different things to do. So it's not in my field, at least in tax, I don't get bored every day, because there's always something new. There's always a different client who has a different tax problem. And it's not that you can apply the same formula to everybody. You have to think and you have to research. And so that is one of the most interesting things to me, that I'm not doing one, like if you're just if you're just doing uh, basic accounts, then you're just passing entries. But for me in tax, it was such an interesting field because everything was changing every day and everyone had different problems. And I enjoy doing a lot of research, tax research. So that, it keeps me going. I don't get bored. After a few years, I'm still, still interested, and I'm still learning so many new things every day. So that is what keeps me going.
I think there are a lot of interesting things to learn. As you said that
Yes.
it's a field where rules keeps changing. There are regulations
Yes.
coming, so you have to keep yourself up to date too.
You have to be on your toes every day. Like you wake up in the morning and there's some new circular by the government that day, and again you have to start, or you have to start preparing all your plans for that. So it keeps you on your toes. You don't get bored.
There also speaks of curiosity one has to generate with, okay, what's new today?
Yes.
So,
Definitely.
so the last question that I would ask, and after that, this would be the end of the session. As like you have two qualifications, CA as well as ACCA, India and UK. How do you think it has worked in your favor? What kind of competitive advantage it has given you over others who just wholly hold either ACCA or CA?
I think it gives me a little more exposure, geographically, because with an ACCA, I learn about UK laws as well. I learn about UK taxes. I learn about UK corporate laws. I learn about the accounting standards, which are, in force in the UK. And so, like if very generally, it's like, suppose I have a client who's coming into India from the UK. And so, with both the degrees, I am qualified enough to advise him on Indian as well as UK implications, for everything. So that gives me a wider scope in my field. I can handle queries for, two different jurisdictions, two different countries. And so it gives me a wider exposure that way compared to someone who might just be conversant with Indian laws or might just be conversant with UK laws.
That's great. Like you have a lot of competitive. I think the awareness of
Yes.
both the region
Yes.
plays out well for you. So
Yes.
that's really good to know.
So, the client does not need to go to 10 different places. I mean, I can myself advise him for 2 different countries. So
Yeah, and I think especially coming from the Middle East, there ACCA is really popular. If I'm not wrong, ACCA as well as CFA and CPA. If I'm not wrong,
yes.
like as per my knowledge.
In the Middle East, ACCA is actually gaining a lot of popularity compared to an Indian CA. And because in the Middle East, what you have is, a lot of foreign companies who set up their, their Middle East, their bases in, their headquarters in those countries. So, and they're always on the lookout for, qualified chartered accountants. So a CA, a CPA, and ACCA, they're all effectively they're all in the same standing. And comparatively, if you see, the Indian CA is much tougher than those two.
Because it's that's good to know. Like I think a student gained a lot about different things because there's always a lot of visibility about CA exam, but when it comes to the visibility of what is the primary role of CA, there's certain a lack of information. Like not a lot of CA will see coming out and talking about their primary role. So I'm very sure the student did learn a great degree of things from what a CA does, what are their primary jobs and responsibility, and accountants and when it comes to number is something like monotonous and all, but you have literally put forward a very exciting aspect of it, as well as you have also spoken about the role of the company that it has played in sort of fostering your career. So it was really wonderful listening to your insights and the exciting aspects of your job, how you overcame all the doubts and all the dilemmas that you might have, and like establish yourself in this field strongly. So thank you so much for coming here and giving your precious time. And I'm sure the students have learned a lot from you. And they have a lot of questions, but we couldn't fit it in this time frame. They're messaging me. But definitely, if there is any way, I will try to reach out to you so you can answer.
Sure. I can do that. Yeah. I'll be happy to answer any questions that are there.
Thank you so much for your time. Mansi, do you have to say something? Okay, I think Mansi has. Okay, I think Mansi is not there. I'm so sorry. This is my first time. But thank you so much for your time. Jaya,
You're
it was
welcome.
wonderful.
It was happy. I'm really happy to do this.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Didi.
Thank you, Didi. Bye, Didi.
Thank you. Bye, Didi.
Thank you.
Bye, Didi.